I'm very excited about today's episode. Georgia and her friend Ellie are my guests today, and we talk about, well, Ellie's parents were last week's episode, and they are the Skip Town All-Stars. They are selling everything in LA and figuring out where their next chapter is. And their daughter is leaving for college at the same time. So I wanted to know how Ellie felt about that. I also wanted to ask them how they feel about college since they're both starting freshman year this year. And we talked about a lot of stuff, starting college, what they're afraid of, what they're most looking forward to, how they fight with their siblings, what they think about the friends they have now and how that's going to progress through college, and just all kinds of great conversations. So I hope you enjoy this episode with Georgia and Ellie. Are you excited?
I am so excited. Georgia knows. Oh my gosh. I am like the only one out of our whole group who I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time. And
You
so,
do?
yes. So when Daisy was on it, I was like, oh, congrats, Daisy. Like, I was so jealous. And then she was on it. She's on Birds again. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I need to be on a podcast.
And then we saw each other right after. She was like, okay, so Sophia also got to be on the
they all got to
podcast.
be on a podcast. I was trying to keep my cool.
And your parents?
Literally,
I
as
was like-
soon as Daisy was done with her podcast, Ellie was like, how do I ask your
I
mom
was
to be
like,
on, but
I
don't
would-
sound very greedy?
Well, I was
Yeah,
going to ask Mia instead of you. I'm just kidding.
No. I would have lost
Just kidding.
it.
I know.
Oh my God.
When
no,
Georgia
no.
asked me, I was like, "Of course, yeah, I would love to talk to you." You know, it's odd because I don't want anybody, including Georgia, to ever feel like I'm like using you or anything for entertainment purposes or anything like that. I'm very sensitive that I wouldn't. You know, I asked Daisy and Georgia to be on it because I wanted to know what it was like to their first like big job and that something to talk about, but. You have something big to talk about, which I'm excited to talk about. But yeah, I just don't want her or anybody to ever think I'm like,
She's beaming. She's
You
like,
know.
success.
No, I literally, we were talking about this. I was like, I don't want your mom to feel I'm like, you like showcase me. Like, that's not how I
No.
wanted to feel. And
That's
the
why
same
we
thing.
formatted that text like so.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like, is this asking too much? I feel so bad.
no, I am very grateful that you're here and willing to
God.
open up and share.
Oh, thanks for having
What
me.
podcast do you listen to?
Okay, well, I love Emma Chamberlain, and she has this podcast called Anything Goes, and she's a YouTuber, and she's like 20, I think.
Yeah.
And so she talks about like just very relatable subjects, like just like trying to find your own style with fashion, how to deal with like moving away, like good relationships versus bad relationships, or like what you should look for in a friend and stuff. And it's like, it's an honest conversation, and it's usually just her talking into the mic. So it's like very relatable to hear someone who like seems like they have it all put together, like not. So I love listening to her. I also love true crime podcasts as well. So I'll listen to those sometime. But yeah,
That's interesting. I've never heard of Emma Chamberlain's.
She kind of got
podcast.
famous like when we were 14 and she was
Yeah.
like 16. So
Yeah.
like as she kept getting famous, we kind of grew up not with her, but like she just like grew up at the same time as we were growing
I
up.
see.
So she was
Yeah.
going through everything like 2 years ahead of us, or like for her sister Mia, like she was basically the same age.
Right.
So it was kind of cool because you would like see her go through getting famous and then go through like just life in general.
Right.
And we were doing the same thing like in 2 years.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
so that's
a
why she
great
has like
idea.
such
I know.
a huge
She's
fan
great.
base. 'cause,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and you know
I
how
don't know.
like thrifting is like really big now.
Uh-huh.
It honestly started with her because she grew up and she would just vlog herself like at Goodwill, and then she'd make all these crazy outfits with it. And then I remember I was like, oh, I want to go thrifting. Like that's so
Yeah.
cool. So then it kind of like became a craze with her starting it. So
That's so cool. I did not know any of that.
I know, she's great. I love her.
That's awesome. I wonder if there are other podcasts in that kind of lane of discovering who you are.
Notre Dame.
No, I thought she grew up in
Belmont, California. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Notre Dame High School, Belmont. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Thanks, babe.
But yeah, she grew up in California. I know that. So that was also another thing. It was like, oh, another like California teenager.
Yeah, and her dad's a photographer too. So whenever she'd go to the city to like get photos taken of her, it'd just be her dad taking them, and it was actually really cute. It wasn't like she
Aw.
wasn't like, I don't know, like trying too hard or anything. It was, yeah, I like her a lot.
That's so cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I love. She has like one kind of like I don't know, like strand of videos where she like does, it's like a day in the life. So I like watch her go grocery shopping, and I'm like, oh my God, that is so me when I have to go get something at this grocery store. She's like, I don't want this milk. I don't want this milk. And then she's like miserable the whole time, but it's kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
Because she's not really miserable, but she's just like, she just kind of like expresses how everyone else feels.
Age appropriate drama.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? The
Yeah.
milk. Oh my God. I can't even.
Yeah.
I so enjoyed having your parents.
I'm glad. They were like beaming when I talked to them when they came home. They're like, my dad was like, it was so fun. It was so easy to talk to her and everything.
I'm
So,
glad. I'm
yeah.
glad they had fun. I had a great time. It was a good conversation. And I love their podcast idea, Skip Town All Stars. It's a great idea. Now, how are you feeling about all of it?
Well, I kind of like am 50-50 because obviously this is something that not a lot of people can do. And so for me to like be upset at them for doing that it wouldn't exactly make sense. I've had a lot of conversations with my dad about this. Both my parents pretty much lived most of their life never staying in one place for like more than a year once they graduated from college. And so for them to live in LA as long as they did was like a big sacrifice for us. Like, especially I always wanted to grow up around my friends. And so I understand why they're doing that because they want to get back on the road, like live their life and stuff. But on another hand, like, you know, for a more selfish reason, I have my friends here, I have family friends here. And so I feel like my mindset is once August 1st comes, like a lot of my life and my support systems, I'm not going to see them as much. And that's like, it's pretty disheartening, but I just feel going to college in general is such a big transition. And then going to college and then also feeling like I don't exactly have a home to come back to. It's like a different mindset that I'm in now, you know?
Totally. I would think that would be a little hard.
It is hard. I'm the only
Yeah.
person who hasn't packed up their room yet because I'm like in a way protesting, but it is hard. I'm taking a lot harder than my other sisters because they had that freedom to come home and to also like live at home when they wanted to. And
Because you're the youngest.
yeah, and I'm upset that I won't have that luxury that they did. But at the same time, I like really have to put it into perspective. Like I said, they sacrificed so much for me my whole life just so I could grow up and go to a good school. And, you know, they worked tirelessly. So I feel like, you know, it's kind of like my turn to like, you know, sacrifice the house or like be okay with it because I do want them to be happy and I don't want them to be here and be like, why are we still living here? Why can't we go live our lives, do things that we want to do? So I feel like it's a fine line of me being upset and me being happy. And it honestly just depends on the day.
I think they're both very valid, right? It's very valid
Yeah.
that you feel like, wait a minute, like everything ends August 1st.
Yeah.
Everything I've known in my whole life is over August 1st.
Yeah.
That would be very hard to swallow.
Yeah. I think that's also why I'm like struggling with just going to college in general because it's going to be such a transition and I'm like getting rid of half my things because we're driving. And so I can't have that many things in the car. And so it's just been really hard to kind of like pick apart little pieces of my life that were really important to me and be like, oh, I can't bring that. Or like, I don't need that anymore. So it's just, I mean, it has to happen. So, you know, I have to accept that. But yeah, I'm not over the moon about it, but I'm not super upset about it anymore either.
Right. Well, that's good. It's very mature of you.
Oh, thank you. I mean, there was definitely a period of time I had a lot of anger about it, I'd say. Just that stupid for sale sign was in my yard for like 2 months. It was up at my graduation party and I was so upset. So just watching that thing, and there was this is so random. It really made me upset though. There was this patch of grass next to it from when they dug it up, and I would see that patch of grass every single day, and it made me so upset because I was like, they're just going to take that sign out, put that patch of grass in, and it's going to be like we never even lived here.
Yeah.
So my mom had to hide the patch of grass because it made me so upset.
I heard you might have had your dog pee on the sign a couple times.
Oh my God, the for sale sign came up. She was like, I'm going to kick it down. I was like, I don't think you can do that. So she would bring Roxy, her dog, out. She'd go, pee on it, pee on the sign. And she'd do it. And then I would like be over at her house forever. And then she'd be like, can you take Roxy out and then like make sure she pees on the sign? And so I'd stand with this dog by the sign and she like kind of wouldn't pee. So then like we'd go on the walk and then we'd come back and I'd be like, come on, just please. Just
I can't do this. I want to talk so bad.
Yeah.
Fucking much is killing me.
Is it hard? Is it hard?
It's killing me. I will listen to the podcast later. I'm dying inside.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God. I know he's sitting there like trying to hold himself
Good,
white knuckling
good,
the seat.
good.
Yeah.
He
Oh my
wanted to
gosh.
be the fourth guest.
Oh.
We're not set up for that at Wife of the Party. We're a three maximum show.
3 max.
Well, that first year is probably going to be the hardest year, you know. And I know your mom and dad said that they were getting an Airbnb for the holidays, so you could be here for the holidays, which was really the first time anybody would come home anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then we were talking about spring break. I don't know what kids these days do for spring break, but like my spring break days, you like went to a destination, like it was a vacation with your friends. But I guess kids come home now for spring break or bring friends home for spring break or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends. I think it depends on, first of all, who you're friends with. Like if you still want to come back home and see all your friends, or like if you're having more fun with your friends in college, like I think that depends. But I think for our spring break, definitely we've already talked about like we need to see each other during breaks because it kind of sucks. Like our friend group was so weird. We like formed at the end of high school. And then as soon as we started getting close, like what we should have been doing like sophomore year, we have to go to college. So we're just kind of like.
Stupid pandemic.
No, I know, for real. No, honestly, that was what it was.
It was, yeah.
Because
completely. Yeah.
we met during the pandemic.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't really be upset about the pandemic. Yeah, I got close with you. I got close with like our other friends. And so I definitely think without it, I don't think I would have had like the drive to go out and make new friends.
Same. But honestly, like the only like I'm glad it pushed me to make new friends. I'm just sad it took 2 years to actually be able to do anything with those new friends.
I understand. I was saying to Dad yesterday, we went to the beach and you guys were here. And I said, I'm really bummed we don't get another summer with these 4 girls. I wish this was junior year, right? After junior year. And then we had all year next year and all next summer because I'm not ready for it to be over. It's been really fun because Miss Secret Santa over there wouldn't bring you guys home forever. And so I feel like I just started getting to know you like in May. So I'm
Not
super
May.
bummed too. I said that's what I feel like. I didn't
like
say
April.
I understand, but I don't feel
No, I
like
know,
it
I know.
started until May. So
You were saying the same about Isla. Like you wished Isla had that many older girls for longer.
yes, that she had been around you guys because she had, you know, I think you all got along really great in Wedowee. And then we came back and then you've done a few things with Isla in your friend group. And I think that's good for Isla. Isla sometimes can be a bit rigid. And I think she needs to be kind of pushed out of her comfort zone a little bit and hang out with people who aren't exactly like her. You know, she's a unique girl, and I don't know if she'd be in your group if you were peers. That makes sense?
Yeah.
She wouldn't be in your group. But I think she needs to be in your group from time to time. It's good for her. So,
I totally understand that. I also feel like the 4 of us individually, we all have such big personalities. Even myself, like becoming friends with you guys, I felt like I changed like so much because you were all unlike friends I'd ever had before. So I felt like I really like let down some walls, like was pushed out of my comfort zone just because, you know, I really liked you guys and I liked how different you guys were. And so I really wanted to like keep in that friend group.
No, I feel the exact same. Like the other friend groups I was in before this, I had like, I don't know, I had more of like a role. Like I was this kind of person. And if I kind of strayed from that role, it was kind of weird. But when I started becoming friends with like you guys, there was no role. I could just like be whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And I remember when we first started being friends, I would like apologize for kind of like
everything.
yeah, maybe for everything. But I would catch myself apologizing for a lot, and like Daisy and Ellie in particular would be like, I don't understand why you're apologizing. Like, I can be a dick all the time and I'm still friends with you guys. It really doesn't matter. Like, we all love each other.
Yeah.
So there's more of like, you can kind of be whoever you want to be and like not worry about like impressing anyone, which is so nice.
Or staying in a role.
Yes, or staying in a role.
I understand that.
Which kind of sucks because now I go to college and I'm
know.
alone.
Speaking of college, how are you guys feeling about that?
You want to go first? Or?
I'll go first. Honestly, I'm excited. I've always wanted to go to college. Like, I know when I was younger, I really didn't want to. I would like count down the years I had left at home. I'd be like 16 years left, whatever. Not 16. That would have been like 2, but whatever.
I get your point.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited like to be on my own in a new state with all new people. But at the same time, I'm really, it is really bittersweet. Like the sweet part is you get to go learn what you want to learn, do what you want to do, like actually establish yourself as an adult. But the sad part is like I have to leave all these people that I love so much. Like we were talking about it. If I could like pick everyone up and bring them to college with me, I would want to go now. Like I would want to go immediately. And like the good thing is like where Ellie's going is only like 4 hours away from me. So when I get a car in college, I can drive whenever. Road trip. But I don't know, for Daisy it's a lot harder. For Sophia it's a lot harder because they're like on the other side of the country,
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, I'm really excited to pursue, like, to actually learn more about myself and to like discover more about who I am in college, but I wish I could do that with the friends I have now.
Right.
I agree. Yeah. I think especially because I'm playing a sport in college, my free time is like very limited. I think I have like Sundays off. So I like all my sisters, they would go like on their weekends, they'd go visit their friends or they'd come home or something. And I'm scared that, you know, I'm not gonna be able to do that. And so I'm going to miss you guys so much. So I feel like I should be more excited for it than I am. And I know once I get there, I'm going to really like it. It's just the getting there and knowing I'm like really going to be on my own. Like I'm going to be playing a sport. So that's like another stressful thing. And
it's like the anticipation of it's worse than.
Yeah, exactly. I know as soon as we all get there, we're all going to love it. And we're all going to like have a great time. It's just the thinking about like not being with my family, not being with my friends that I like love so much.
Yeah.
It's like really painful. So yeah.
Yeah, because you can't like, it's no longer I don't want to drive 15 minutes to your house. It's I'm driving 4.5 hours to your door.
Yeah,
like, or I'm taking a 3-hour flight. Like it's a lot different. It's so much more convenient when you can drive somewhere that's like less than an hour away. And then when you're like figuring out time zones and when to call everyone, like that's going to be, I think once I think Ellie's completely right. Like once we get in the hang of it, it's going to be a lot of fun, but then you actually have to get in the hang of it. Like you have to work to, I don't know, maintain friendships, which aren't actually going to take a lot of work to maintain, but still it's like, it's definitely more effort. But honestly, I'm not upset about it. Like I would spend any amount of effort just to keep them.
Well, that's good. That's very sweet.
Yeah.
So what are you nervous about college itself?
I'm worried about, because when I think back on high school, for instance, I'm worried that I'm going to take too long to find my people again, because I mean, I did have great friends for most of high school, but I felt like I really found my people the last year. And so I'm just really worried I'm going to make too many mistakes. And then I'm going to look back on college again and be like, God, I wish I did this different. Like, I know that's all a part of life and I have to understand that, but I'm not super excited for, making mistakes, I guess, having to deal with that.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably my thing.
Yeah, I honestly have the same answer. I'm scared I'm either not going to find people, which I honestly, no, I know I'm definitely going to find people. I just like, I'm scared I will find the wrong people or I'll waste my time again, or not even waste it, but just like spend it doing other things.
Yeah, I don't think your time was wasted.
Nope, definitely not. It was not wasted.
Before you found your friends.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, I don't want to put my energy into something that's like not as fulfilling when I could have something that's super fulfilling. So I'm just nervous that I'm not going to focus like correctly on finding my people, or I'll find the wrong people and spend too much time there.
So
and I'm worried about my
that-
grades.
You're worried about your grades?
And getting a job. Like there's all that. Oh my God, I'm so worried about my grades. I'm worried that college is going to actually like can I say a curse word? And it's gonna kick me in the ass. Like I'm just scared I'm actually gonna go there and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Why am I here? I'm scared my grades are gonna be trash. I'm scared I'm gonna get a horrible job and never be able to get out of it. I'm scared of getting raped. I'm gonna be completely honest, because everyone gets raped. Not everyone, but it's more common in college.
Because everyone gets raped in college. So you don't know what year it's coming, but it's coming. Oh my God.
I'm scared. I'm actually scared of a lot. I'm a very scared person.
Sounds like it's a lot of anxiety.
No way.
Yeah, way. Boy, that doesn't run in your family at all.
Oh my God, no, not at all.
Well, can I talk to some of these points?
Yes.
Since I've been to college. I was raped in college. I was date raped in college. So I can speak to that point also. She knew that already.
Oh, I did know that.
She knew that already. I'm very open about that because, that's how you help people. It was a terrible, terrible 10 minutes of my life that stuck with me for a long time. But at a certain point, I have a choice here. I can make this 10 minutes of my life, or I can make it my whole life. So we're just going to make it 10 minutes. And it creeps in from time to time where I have moments of like, oh, there's that 10 minutes. It's back again. But for me, not that any of that was my fault at all. But if I had not been completely annihilated, I would not have been in that situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So not my fault that happens, but you also have to be smart when you're in college and be safe. I think that happens when it happens in college, it happens quite a bit when alcohol's involved, so that no one is in their right mind. I definitely wasn't in my right mind. And that person definitely was drunk and not in his right mind either. So again, not my fault, but it's like someone going a little bit, oh, I'll probably get killed for this. But for me, for my situation, I'm not speaking about anybody else's, but my own. It's kind of like walking down a dark alley in New York City at 2:00 in the morning and expecting it to be A-OK super safe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just really reckless.
That's another
my
thing
part.
I'm scared of, is that like something's going to happen to either Ellie or Daisy or Sophia, and we can't help them because
Yeah.
we're so far.
Well, there are definitely things you can do to take care of yourself. You never go anywhere by yourself. If you're going to go out with friends, you stay with your friends. You don't let a friend go home by themselves. For mine, it was someone I knew, and that someone I had dated. So, legitimately was in a relationship with. And then months later, this moment happened that was really shitty. So, and really, really shitty for everybody. I'm sure he probably felt terrible about it, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he didn't even think there was anything wrong. But I was by myself. I stayed too late at a party. I was too drunk. And if I had gone home with my friend who tried very hard to get me to go home, I never would have been there in the first place. So when you're out partying, you're going to party. You're going to get so drunk that you throw up. You have to make sure you don't start doing that until you found your people that you can help take care of each other. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's the heavy part of the date rape thing. And for sure, if anything terrible like that happens, what I did was I decided to bury it in my psyche. I just went, that just didn't happen. That didn't happen. Nope, didn't happen. And then everything else in my life spiraled out of control. And about 7 years later, I was in a movie theater with a friend in New York City. And all my memories came back all at once. I was watching a stupid movie, like a comedy or something. It had nothing to do with any kind of trauma trigger. I don't know why it came back when it did, but it all flooded back at one time. And I turned to my friend in New York and said, we have to leave right now. And I have to tell you what I just remembered, or I'm going to bury it again. So I told her, and luckily I was in therapy, and I told my therapist the next session and started working on it. If I had been able to acknowledge that had happened to me and told somebody when it happened, a friend, a counselor, my RA, an aunt, anybody, if I'd been able to speak about it, I think I would have gotten over it faster. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What was that, mosquito?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So anything that happens to you, if you witness bad behavior, if you see someone overdose on drugs, if you anything really traumatic like that, please do yourself the favor of reaching out for help for yourself. If your anxiety is unmanageable and you're like, can't get a hold of myself here for whatever reason, there's so many resources at college that you can find to help you. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, especially if you're a victim of a crime. I mean, what happened to me was a crime. I never pressed charges because I never told a soul until 7 years later. No one had any idea, including me, Because I just went, we're just going to tuck that. We're going to file that under DR. And we're going to come back to that about 7 years from now when you have calmed down. So I don't know. I'd like to think now where you guys are all so much more woke that it doesn't happen like it did in the 80s when I was in college, 80s, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I think now it's not what it was, but also I didn't know that existed. I didn't know that date rape wasn't a thing that anybody knew or talked about. So I was not prepared for any of that, but you guys are. You know what it is. And so if you just stick together, if once you start getting really too drunk, you should just go home. Just go home. That way you're not in a car accident. Nothing bad happens. There's nothing wrong with getting completely hammered. Every college student does it. But there's a certain point where you need if four of you were going to school together, I wouldn't worry about you at all. So you just need to find your crew so that you can do that for each other and say, you've had enough. Let's go home. It's time to call it a day.
That's something I'm also excited about is if we when we do find our people, then like our circle kind of gets bigger. Because then it's like I trust anyone she's going to be friends with.
Right.
Same with Daisy, same with Sophia. Like I trust anyone that's in their close circle in college.
Right.
So that's going to be kind of fun.
That's going to be very fun.
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say another thing about like us being so close is that we can also be honest if we think that someone that they're dating or friends with is not good for them. I have no problem saying your boyfriend or your girlfriend is a bad person. And I think that is probably one of the things that I'm like most grateful to take away from this friend group is that like I know that they will be 1,000% honest with me about my future, about my relationships.
Because we're usually right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're all usually on the right track. Like if one of us has a bad feeling about someone and we all pay attention to it, we're always right.
Yeah.
And like not to like brag about us, but like we have like we're like always right. So I feel like we all made a pact like a couple months ago. We were like in college, if I have a friend that I'm obsessed with and I can't see how bad they are, or if I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend that I'm obsessed with and there's something like wrong, you just have a gut feeling, you have to tell me.
Yeah.
You have to tell any of us because we're usually right.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why
good.
like so like I'm gonna like press that we all see each other, and if like I don't know, like if you get in a long-term relationship with someone and you want to like bring them, then we can all like judge like the council. Like the council.
I don't really like them. Well, about the grades.
Oh god. No.
So I was in the honor society. I was a 4.0.
No, definitely
Hold on. Hear me out. I started out college. My attitude was how you start is how you finish, right? So if you start out really with your intention that first semester or quarter of setting up some good like systems and habits that you are unwilling to kind of bend on too much, then I think you set yourself up for success. I had life drama, a date rape, family trauma, a divorce, all happening at the same time, and my grades plummeted because my mental health wasn't able to sustain the system I had in place. I had a 4.0 until I got date raped, and I left. I was in that college a little longer, and I left with a 2.5. And that's what it did because it was trauma. But I set it up in the beginning. I was like, I'm just going to make sure, because you're there to learn, but you're also there to socialize and meet friends and be an adult and be on your own. But part of being an adult is having some kind of system where you run your life. I do laundry on Wednesdays or whatever that is, you know? I do laundry Wednesday, Sunday, because Sunday I have the day off.
Yeah.
You know, to really look at your life in a practical, pragmatic way, which is so boring. But if you don't figure out that boring piece, I think you have a hard time, because then if you have this one professor who's super hard and you just can't figure out what this person wants or how you're supposed to get this shit done, if you don't have something pretty good set up, that person might really make the rest of your life more difficult. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, this episode of Wife of the Party is brought to you by HelloFresh. I love HelloFresh. Here's one reason I love HelloFresh. My kids love to cook HelloFresh. I have one child who is not interested in cooking anything of her own capacity ever. And I have another child who's actually quite good at cooking, just off the cuff. But they both enjoy making HelloFresh, and they like making it together. It's something they like to do together. So we have been getting this meal delivery service, HelloFresh, for years and years now. And not only do the girls spend time together making it, they love trying new things. The new recipes that come into HelloFresh are always a welcome addition to our weekly meals, because the girls would try something that maybe we've never heard of before or we've never been interested in trying before. Every meal is fresh, as the name implies, and everything is simple. The meals are 30 minutes or less. Everything is locally sourced, or as much as possible is locally sourced, fresh ingredients, and the recipes are easy to follow. It's very user-friendly. And for summer, we're so busy that I don't really want to think about what to cook tonight. So it's really nice to open your fridge and know that you have 2 or 3 or 4, however many meals you buy per week from HelloFresh, ready to go. And you don't have to think about it. Then you don't have to, factor that into your planning of your day. You just know it's there for you. I love the convenience of that. If you're heading out for one last vacation, you can update your delivery address and enjoy your HelloFresh at your vacation destination with just a click. Your plans are flexible, so they work with your changing schedule. Go to HelloFresh.com/wife16 and use the code WIFE16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. That is right. You go to HelloFresh.com/wife16 and use code WIFE16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. America's #1 meal kit is HelloFresh.
High school's obviously different than college, so I can't say, but I always try to pick one aspect of my life that I really stuck with. So for me, it was always sports. I always wanted to go to practice. I always wanted to be at practice on time. I always wanted to give my all when I was there. I can't say the same for other parts of my life, but I felt like having one thing that I really cared about, that I put a lot of my effort into, it ended up giving me more fulfillment in the end, and it actually helped me balance out the other parts of my life. I feel like it's too hard, like you said, to have a system where everything has to be perfect and has to be done in one way, because if something happens, that's not sustainable at all. But I feel like if you really dedicate yourself to one thing, for instance, like doing laundry on Wednesdays or something, then totally. It'll just, you're doing laundry. Oh, why not just clean the kitchen or something? It'll roll over into other parts of your life.
I agree with that. And you have to, there's certain key parts of taking care of yourself in college, because you've never fully taken care of yourself as much as you think you have in your parents' house. You really haven't. And you'll see when you're in college for about a month or so, you go, oh yeah. I didn't really realize the little bitty bits and pieces that it takes to get everything done in my week, right? Although Georgia, I can speak for Georgia, is very self-sufficient and pretty much almost there. There's going to be pieces when you're completely removed from this backup that Dad and I provide, where you're like, oh, yeah, I do have to buy all my groceries or whatever it is for you.
I'm so excited to buy all my groceries.
I am out of laundry detergent because I forgot to buy it, and now I got to schlep out in the rain and get more. You know what I mean? Those little things are part of what you're supposed to do in college. Yeah. But if you have it set where I go Wednesday, I'm just using this as an example. Wednesdays, I do my laundry. Well, then you'll get in the habit of just making sure all your ducks are in a row, and you do that, and you're right, it bleeds into other things, so you end up taking care of other things at the same time because it's a habit.
I'm scared I'm going to choose partying over studying.
But you're not really like that now. For the time that I've known you,
who have you been hanging out with? Oh my God!
No,
I can't even get her to take her math placement test because she's too busy with you guys.
I can't speak on that either. I haven't taken mine.
Hey, can we pick your housing? No time. She's all party lately.
Finish what you have to say. I
just going to school with you. Especially journalism, because she was editor-in-chief in journalism, so she had the highest role. And she really she took it pretty seriously. I mean, you always, to the best of your ability, got your work done when you could. So I felt like, but you were passionate about journalism.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
You really wanted to. So that's
what
why
I'm saying. I don't think I'll be passionate about math. So I'll be like, screw it.
You just got to get through it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the thing,
no, but I don't have this thing telling it going, Georgia, you actually have to do your math this time. Because honestly, like my friends held me accountable for a lot of the stuff I didn't want to do. Like I would be like, I could instead do this and this and this. And then like a voice of reason that's a couple inches taller than me would be like, no, Georgia, you actually kind of have to do your math. And then I'd be like, okay, well, she says that.
So then you need to look for that in someone in each class.
I know. I need like a criteria of friends.
Well, something else that's made college challenging to me is the extreme amount of free time.
That sounds wonderful.
Except all of a sudden, when you have too much free time, you kind of don't get anything done. So there's a saying that goes, if you want something done, give it to the busiest person you know. Because someone who's busy already will just keep on trucking. Someone who's like, I got a 10 a.m. class. I only have one class today. I'm going to go hike. Then I'm going to go get a beer. Then I'm going to go Then I'm going to go shopping. Then I'm going to go out tonight. All of a sudden, that happens 3 days in a row and you're way behind on your work.
Yeah.
You know, that's my point, is that with college, there's a lot of freedom. And sometimes that freedom can be a trap for kids who aren't used to having a lot of freedom. Like, you guys, high school is not like mine. It was kind of relentless. You guys had a lot more homework than I ever did. I was a cheerleader. I had practice 2 days a week for an hour. And the rest of the time, I had free time, sort of, but I worked in high school. But Georgia would say, well, I want to get a job. And I'd go, when are you going to have it? You're in lacrosse every day after school. I mean, well, you can work like on Sunday, but then you're worn out from everything from the week. You do also have to rest. So when you have all this wide open time, less so for you since you're playing a sport, but for most kids who go to college, just as a college student, I think that's a big trap, is all that free time. So getting a job, even if it's a job on campus where you work a couple days a week for 10 hours a week or something, I think helps you to keep that kind of busy momentum going. Because partying in college is a blast. It is so much fun. I partied so much in college. Until I got in trouble because I was partying too much.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Yes.
That's what happened. Is I got in this habit of being like the biggest partier, not like your dad, but like I didn't miss a party. I didn't miss a single party.
That's what I'm scared of. I have two sides of genetics that I cannot for the life of them not party.
Oh, I cannot party now.
Well, yeah, now.
But when I was your age, I didn't miss a party.
That's what I'm saying, Mom.
I know. But I still
Oh, I
maintained a
can't help
4.0. I still got my work done until I, had 10 minutes with the wrong person. But before that, I got all my shit done. Sorry, does that make you uncomfortable?
No.
Okay.
I'm just looking at her.
Okay.
No, I'm just looking I'm just looking at her. I mean, my sister is in college. She's going to be a sophomore now. And she actually had like a good system. She would just... Her dorm was like on the other side of campus, so she would go to her classes and then she'd just go to the library like immediately after, do all her homework, and then go back. She would never really bring her homework home that much, and that was like the easiest thing that she did for herself, because she's like, well, I'm already like on campus. Let me just do all my work now, and then I can have all the free time in the world. So as long as you like just like do it all at once. That's like probably the best thing you can do.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would do. I've always said this to both my kids. Everybody, when I was a kid, as soon as you got home from school, you got a snack and did your homework. And then that way the day is yours, because we didn't have 8,000 things to stream and Instagram and whatever. We were always dying to go outside. Even when I was in high school, I was dying to go out of my house. So I always thought, well, I'm just going to come home, have a snack, bang out my homework, and then I can do whatever I want for the rest of the day. That definitely was not what happened with my kids. And as much as I tried to get both of my kids to do that, neither one of them would even really consider it.
No, I was really good at that in the beginning of high school. And then I did not do it after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I did do that because I remember thinking about what I would eat on the way home. I'd be like, oh, maybe some pretzels and hummus.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Maybe some chips and guac. And then I'd get it and I'd do all my homework and then I'd be free the rest of the day. But then, like, with the pandemic, I had so much free time. I was like, no, I'm just not.
See, that's the problem. There's the trap. So
Well, that
maybe
was
you
also-
should
I was
consider
at
the Mia.
home.
The Mia.
You
yeah.
could consider the Mia,
Mia
which
has
is
a 4.0. You got to consider the Mia.
exactly. So you could go to
She's a smart
class
cookie.
and then go, you know what? I'm going to grab a coffee and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to grab a pastry and I'm going to sit down and do this. I'm just going to treat myself to some brand new lip gloss and sit down and do my homework and then move on with my day.
Pastry.
Right?
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to about college?
Partying.
Partying. You're making me very concerned.
Nope, Leanne, calm down. It's okay. It's fine. I'm just I'm excited to make
What
like-
kind of partying are you talking about?
like
What is the
studying
spectrum?
parties. Math parties.
Alston's laughing. No,
No. I'm excited to like
what
like-
kind of
No,
partying?
listen, Leah, not frat parties. Like that's not what
Oh,
I'm
there's
like.
nothing wrong with frat
That's not where I'm
parties.
going. Oh, I want to go to a frat house. Oh, no. I'm excited to like. There's when I go to a party and I see a lot of people that I know. That's when I get really excited. So I'm excited to get that where I can go to a party, see all these people I know, feel at least minorly comfortable. But like I'm excited to have what I have now in high school, where I
To
show up.
socialize.
Yeah,
That's
where I
probably a
show
better
up with
word.
my group and then socialize at a party and then have fun and go home with my group again. Like I'm excited to do that again because it was so fun, like getting to know our group and getting our group from party after party after party after party after party. And then we just, oh my God, it was so fun. And then you get to know all those people better at parties. I just
I'm
love it.
rethinking this LA Valley College option.
No,
Rethinking that might be the way to
I'm
go
just
for you.
So excited. And then I'm excited for this one to visit and to come to parties with me. And then for Daisy to come to parties with me and Sophia. And then I get to go to parties with them. I'm so excited for Mardi Gras. Oh my God.
I am deeply concerned. I'm really concerned.
No, I'm just excited.
You're not excited to learn. None of this has to do with learning, which is the main purpose of going to college.
No, you just told me to explain the partying
What you're looking
side.
forward to the most.
That's
is
and then I said
party.
partying, and you said what, and then that was me explaining partying. I'm also excited because where I'm going is super outdoorsy, so I'm so excited for that because I know it'll help me stay active if there's something I can visually see. Because that's like my thing with running too. Is if I'm running on a treadmill, I'm like, this is stupid, this is pointless. But if I'm going on a hike, then I'm like, oh my God, like that's what I'm excited for too. I'm excited to actually start learning about what I want to learn about. I'm excited to not take chemistry and to actually start learning about things I want to learn about and see what I want to actually start doing. And the parties.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to?
I think because I'm playing volleyball, I'm going to be traveling a lot, and that I'm like super excited for because it can be like a nice little break from school. So like I go to states like New Mexico, I'm in Utah a lot. I can go to like Wyoming and Montana, like all these random states that I really never would have gone to before. So I can't wait to do that and to do it with my team. Like I think that would just be really fun. But I think I'm also excited to socialize. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be nerve-wracking at first, but like I'm really excited to meet like people that, especially in my classes, that like, you know, are interested in what I'm interested in, and like we become friends like that. So I think now that I'm talking about it, I'm actually getting more excited about it. But yeah, I just like to socialize and travel.
I'm also you reminded me of this. I'm excited for when I go to school. We talk about this all the time. When we meet people, like sometimes I categorize them as an Ellie. Like I see someone and I'm like, that's Ellie. That's an Ellie. Or I see someone and I'm like, that's Daisy. Or like, this is a hybrid of Sophia and Ellie. Like I'm excited to meet those people and just hear them talk and just prove me right. Like, damn, this is really Ellie. Like that's what I'm excited for. I'd be like, I just met someone that's exactly like you. And then, yeah, you just reminded me of that.
Okay.
But keep going.
Oh, that was just what I was gonna say. I guess like especially the travel thing, it's like a luxury that not a lot of people have. So like I'm really excited for that. I just think like I just can't wait to play a sport in college. I mean, I love volleyball so much, and I loved playing it like competitively, like on my club. So I can't wait to do that with like my roommate and like all my best friends, and we all travel together. So I'm super stoked. So
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is going to be your biggest mistake?
I don't. Do you want to go?
I think picking the wrong people. Like, I feel like, honestly, I'll just pick people because I like who they say they are, but not who they actually are. So, like, I'll pick people, I don't know. I'm just scared of picking the wrong people and then making a mistake where I know I'd be safe making it with the people I know here and maybe not as safe with those people that I'll meet in college. That's the only thing I'm actually scared about. Or I'm scared that, like, I'll be so off balance in, like, no, I don't think I'll do that. I was gonna say I think I'll be scared I'll be so off balance I can't get back on the right track, but I'm too anxious to do that, so I don't think I'll actually do that. I think I'll get so anxious about me being off balance. I'll be like, no, just stop, and then I'll figure it out. But I'm just more scared of like liking people for who they say they are and not actually realizing it until it's a little too late.
I'm really worried about dating the wrong person. Like I have a lot of friends in high school who kind of dated the wrong people, and obviously you learn from it, and like I wouldn't regret it per se, but I'm really worried that being on my own, you know, not having really like my parents' opinion as much or my sister's opinion around, or like my friends, for instance, like I'm worried that I'm gonna become like too codependent on someone that's not exactly that great for me. So because that's really hard to break away from, especially if, for instance, I didn't have like a solid group of friends like how I do now. Like I just don't want to be in, that's the kind of situation that I feel like would really put a damper on my college experience.
Yeah. But you know, mistakes are part of life.
Yeah.
And mistakes are just freaking gifts. They're real gifts. Even really bad mistakes, like me getting too drunk and being in the wrong situation and getting in trouble. Not that I would want to repeat that or that is what I needed, but you can always find a lesson in a mistake. Always. There's always a lesson. My lesson in that mistake was I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't listening to the cues of my friends saying it's time to go home. I was way more inebriated than was healthy for me, and I was that way on a regular basis. So if I have to find a lesson, a positive lesson in that really bad moment, then there they are. So even if you have this moment of maybe dating someone, maybe even longer than you should, then if you can find the lesson, you can grow from it. You can improve yourself from it. And some of that stuff you just would never know until you made that mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would just never know that. Some people are better listeners than others, listeners to themselves or the universe or their friends or whatever. And maybe that's the lesson. Maybe the lesson for me was, because I sure as hell didn't listen to anybody, was maybe listen to somebody, to trust somebody, you know? I don't know. Mistakes are just gifts. And if you can find a way to not welcome a mistake, because no one wants to go, yeah, bring me the mistakes, but to just realize making mistakes is part of, I still make mistakes today. Everybody makes mistakes, that they are little gifts for you to sit and self-reflect and think, what did I learn? What did I need from this? What do I take from it to better myself? Because what I find interesting about people who are married right out of high school or right out of college is, for one, they're super lucky if they're really, really happy, because you change so much in your 20s and then again in your 30s, that if you find someone like at 21 and you're still happy at 50, that's amazing, because you've metamorphosed so many times based on all these mistakes and experiences. And dating and relationships and even friendships are there for that reason. They're there so that you can figure out more who you are and what you need and how to take care of yourself than anything else, which is all you're supposed to be learning, is how to take care of yourself and how to fulfill your own dreams, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting because like I mentioned, like for instance, watching some of our friends go through like horrible relationships for too long in high school, when I really think about it, the next person that they dated was so unlike that last person. And it was
Exactly.
like they were so much better for that person. So I agree. It's like you can take anything bad and really like internalize it and like, you know, do a complete 180 with any situation really.
Called self-reflection.
So
If you have can work on self-reflection, then you can grow and change more quickly. If it's always the other person's fault, or they were just a bad person, or they just had bad behavior, that may all be true. It was completely true that the guy that was with me for 10 minutes had all of that. But for me not to turn that mirror around and say, where is my responsibility here? Because I was responsible for getting myself there. And then you can make some changes for yourself. Even in something as simple as choosing a roommate. You know, I had a roommate. Actually, I can't really talk about my roommate. Both my roommates were awesome. But I remember watching people with a roommate. Hold on. I had a roommate when I moved to LA that was not working. Nice person, sweetest person ever, not working. We had a very different idea of how you are in a space. And I stayed there way too long because it was easier than changing. It was way easier than looking for another apartment, looking for another roommate, coming up with money for a deposit. But I was really unhappy. So, you know, that was my lesson to learn. There's no need to be unhappy. Yes, it sucks to do the legwork to make the change, but you're probably going to have to make it anyway. So go ahead and do it so you get yourself happy faster. You know, those are the things you'll learn in your 20s is that you stay too long sometimes in something for all different kinds of reasons. You know, not sure if you should make this change, not sure if you're right about what you feel, not, all those things. You should trust your instinct. You guys are very, very good at your instincts, and learning to really trust them is, it's a great skill, because then you'll make faster moves in your life.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of live by this motto. Like, I never want to look back on something and feel like regret that I didn't do anything. I would rather feel like, oh, that was the wrong move. I shouldn't have moved to that place or something. And, even like trying to help yourself and still making a mistake, I still feel like that's better than to be like, God, I've been in this apartment way too long, or like I should have moved a lot sooner. Like that just like regret to me is an awful feeling. So I would rather feel like, God, I made a mistake than to be like, wow, I just wasted like a year of my life, or longer if you keep yourself like in a relationship where you're not happy for too long.
Totally.
So.
It bogs you down.
Yeah.
Taking responsibility is the most freeing thing you can do, is to say, that was not a good choice. Move on, instead of making excuses or holding on to regret. Just take responsibility and move on. Yeah, I don't know. Life at this age, at the age I am now, life seems pretty simple. Things are pretty cut and dried. You're either good to me or you're not. You're either honest or you're not. You're in integrity or you're not. But when I was in college, all of that was just kind of a mystery and like an upside down bowl of spaghetti. Everything was just a big jumble of, I don't really know what is happening here. You have to kind of unravel stuff to figure out. And then you get really quick about your parents saying, you know what, we want to do this, we're going to do it. They did. I mean, I think that's so impressive. It's really impressive to be that brave. And that sure that, yes, this is what we're going to do. Because what's the worst that can happen? They come back here? Yeah. Okay. But, when you were younger, you may not think that way. Yeah. You're like, oh, but what if? As you get older, you go, the what ifs, we'll figure them out.
It's the biggest advice I've ever gotten from you. Anytime I have an issue at all, Ellie's just like, you should say something as opposed to not saying anything at all. Yeah. Even if it's something like small or stupid. And honestly, it like always works out. So
it can snowball. If you don't say something, you don't do something, it suddenly becomes a bigger issue.
Then you think about it all day. What would happen if I did say something?
Or like, how would I even bring it up? Or what would I do? It's like, no, if you just brought it up the minute that, you felt upset about it, or when you like really wanted to say something, then suddenly you open up that line of communication with whoever your friend is. Like whenever we're honest with each other, like about, say, like, I'm not happy about this, or I'm not happy about that. I have no problem going up to any of my friends and being like, hey, like that hurt my feelings. Whereas if I never did that before, there'd be a lot of like anger and hurt and guilt for our mistakes. And
that's what we were talking about the other day. Like if there's an issue, it's easier to bring it up, both of us to be kind of pissed in the moment, and then 20 minutes later be fine, as opposed to like not saying anything to keep peace now, but then you don't know what'll happen in a month. Like what if that same thing keeps happening? Then there's all this anger and regret that like builds up into something huge that could have been totally avoided if the first time you're just like, hey, that was kind of annoying. Exactly. And then you talk about it for 20 minutes and get over it.
Yeah.
And most of like an hour and a half like screaming match. Like that's horrible.
And most of the time, like it usually is just a misunderstanding, or you guys were on two separate pages. Like I like to think that no one that we know would intentionally be mean or like cunning, you know, like on purpose. So like whenever you're upset with someone, usually it's probably just a misunderstanding. And if you bring it up, then suddenly becomes a lot easier in the future to bring more things up.
Yeah, you just have to have faith that the people you're surrounded by have your best intention at heart.
Yeah. Now, do you feel that way about your siblings?
Yes. I mean, well, it's different. I have Mia as my older sister, and then I have Parker, who's my older sister. And Mia and I have always been really close because we're 18 months apart. So we've always gone through life together. But Parker's 4 years older than me, and I felt like we always kind of like passed each other by. I mean, I was in middle school when she was a senior in high school, so like there's not really a lot to relate on there at all. So I feel like with Mia, since I'm like I spent more time with her, I really don't have a problem being like, hey, like this really hurt my feelings, and she'll do the same with me. Whereas sometimes, just because of the age difference between me and my other sister, it could be a little bit harder to find like to connect in that way. It's not impossible by any means, but it's different kind of depending on like, you know, the sibling and how you guys grew up. That's what I think.
So do you deal with adversity the same with your siblings as you do with your friends?
Yes. I mean, I'd say pretty similar. I mean, my sister and I, when we fight, I mean, it's always pretty respectful. I mean, we'll have maybe a screaming match, but after, like, we always want to talk about it. I don't ever want to be mad at her because like I do love her. Yeah. So it is kind of similar. Like I really will hear her out, and I like will apologize, because I don't want my sister to feel like she can't be comfortable around me, or that she is constantly on edge of something, or like I'm constantly doing something wrong. So I think at least for me, they're pretty similar, because I do really respect my sister. She's also my older sister, so she does a lot for me. So to be rude to her would just be like a big slap in the face to her, you know, for all she does.
Yeah, no, I agree. She pretty much treats us the same as she treats Mia.
What do you think about you and your sibling?
I think it's different, definitely, than Ellie and Mia. I know Isla has always had a good intention at heart. Like, I know there's never any negativity behind anything she really does. Obviously, there's like moments of like petty selfishness that we all have, where it's like, oh, well, I want this from you, blah, blah, blah. But like, she's not the only person on the planet that does that. I do that too. Everybody does that, where they just kind of want what they want when they want it. And sometimes, like, I don't know, it can not come across as the nicest. But I know Isla's always had like the best intention for the greater good at heart whenever she and I get in an argument. Like, I know when she does act with passion or aggression, it's only because that's how she really feels, and that's how she feels she's been hurt. Whether or not it's like how she's actually been hurt, like that's how she feels. So I feel like I'm honestly proud that she can express it like that, because like she knows herself very well. What was the other question?
No, my question was, how do you deal with your sibling?
How do I deal with my sibling?
You, compared to how you deal with your friends. So she said she deals with her siblings pretty much the same as her friends. But you just told me how Isla deals with you.
Oh, no, I thought that was the first question.
No.
And you had a second question.
No.
Okay, just kidding. Anyways, this is how I deal with it.
Yeah, how do you deal with your sibling the same as you deal with your friends? That was the question.
I do not. I do, and honestly, I'm really guilty of that. I feel like with my friendships, whether or not they're as like or as important as this friendship or like as another friendship, I'm always scared that those aren't permanent. Like I know they are, like I know these friendships are permanent. So I definitely treat it with like a lot more fragility. Like I definitely think out everything I say. I second guess if I'm even gonna say anything. Like and I don't know, there's a lot more respect. Not that there's not respect when I have arguments with Isla, but there's more respect with friendships only because I'm scared that I won't have it forever. And I think with Isla, I definitely take advantage of the fact that I'm going to be with her for the rest of my life. So I feel like if I don't act in a moment where I'm being respectful or I'm being kind, or same with her, if she doesn't act in that, like we kind of forget about it because we just know at the end of the day, we're still sisters. Like that's not going to go away. So I feel like I should treat her the same as I treat my friends.
Mm-hmm. How does it make your heart feel in both those scenarios? Does one of them make your heart feel like, ooh, that was not good? Or does it not? Does it feel the same in both scenarios?
I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm more anxious when I have a problem with my friend because I know, well, obviously I just said it, like it's not permanent. Like they're not obligated to be my friend for the rest of my life. Isla is kind of obligated to be my sister, like whether she likes
She's
it
not obligated to have a relationship with you.
No,
though.
I'm saying like I'm obligated to see her a few times a year.
Once you guys are an adult, it may be, hey, I want you guys to be together forever as siblings.
Well, yeah.
I'm on team Georgia Isla. Yeah. But I mean, in general, people who have siblings are not obligated to see each other once you're out of the house. Yeah. So if you beat your sister up, don't, but if you beat her up every day, that sister may be like, yeah, I'm not hanging out with you anymore. Yeah. You know, that's not good for me. Yeah. So my question is, how does that, do you just think, well, it's fine, it doesn't affect you to know that you treat her differently than your friends? That's my question. Does it affect you to know you treat her differently?
Kind of, because I know she does the same with me. Like I know she talks to me in a different way she would talk to her other friends. And I know maybe we've talked about it before. Like we don't treat each other the same as we treat our friends. Only because that's just not how we ever worked. Like, and it's not honestly in a horrible way. Mm-hmm. Like she doesn't talk to Lily and Dakota the same way she talks to me. And I don't talk to her the same way I talk to Ellie, Daisy, and Sophia. Mm-hmm. And it's not always negative. Like, yeah, she's my sister. I'm going to talk to her differently than I talk to my friends. Because I'm obviously like, I'm more relaxed around her. She's my little sister. Like, I don't care. She's like my little friend. But she is my little friend, not just like my little friend. But I don't know. I don't think about it as much, only because that's how we've always acted and it's how we both act. So it's not just me treating her differently. She's also treating me a lot differently than she would treat her friends in arguments. So I don't know. I've never felt anything negative about it because we both do it.
Interesting. I wonder if that's a failing of parenting on my part.
Oh, okay.
Probably not.
I don't have siblings. So any fight with anybody was fragile to me. Because I wasn't allowed to argue with my mom. Because when I would argue with her, she would leave for like a year, a year and a half. So arguing breaks everything. So I'm not good at it. I'm not good at arguing very well. But maybe that was a failing in my parenting, is that you guys feel like you can, well, maybe not. Maybe it's good that you can really just let it all hang out with your sibling and know that they're never leaving. That'd be an awesome feeling.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she goes through phases where she doesn't want to, like, talk to me, but that phase, honestly, lasts an hour.
Sometimes a little longer.
Yeah, sometimes a lot longer.
It depends on what's happened.
Yeah.
What I observe with the two of you is that you both become defensive before you become curious. You both are on the defense immediately instead of becoming curious about what the other person is saying. Let me see if what they're saying is valid, and then I'll defend myself. Instead, it's both of you do it. It's immediately, no. And then you can't hear each other. So I wonder if you learned that from your dad. I'm just kidding. It's got to be from me too. I wonder if that's how we argue with each other and you both went, no, defend your own fort first.
It's also
My-
hard to be
my
the
own fort's
first
under
person,
attack.
though.
What's that?
Like especially in that, it's hard to be the first person to be like,
Well, I mean,
it
it's
doesn't matter.
in a perfect world, which doesn't exist, it would be lovely if a person who was upset with another person would go, I'd like to talk to you about something. I'm very upset about the gum you took out of my purse. You know, I was saving that gum because I need it really badly for finals. And I know that you didn't really know what you were doing, but I have to tell you, I was very upset when I went to get my gum and my gum was missing.
That's just me.
And then the other person would go, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. You are right. I took your gum without permission and I will never do that again.
That's
In
basically
fact,
how we argue.
let me go get my gum and your gum and return it to you. And again, I deeply apologize. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it? If you
Yeah.
could just, if the upset person could present it in a way that the person under attack, so to speak, or the wrongdoer can actually hear it and then immediately take responsibility. I think that's what we're supposed to be striving for. I am not good at that. I have to pump the brakes and go, okay, deep breath. How are you going to say this? How are you going to figure this out?
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned when I said like I do like to talk to Mia and like actually communicate. Do you remember that time when we were in that parking lot of Yogi Girl? And
yes.
that was our
my
last like
God.
big fight.
Uh-oh.
Because
At Yogi Girl.
It was
What the heck
Grill.
is Yogi Girl?
Grill.
Yogi Grill.
Grill.
It
Oh,
was-
they said
okay,
girl.
It was actually
honestly-
horrible, and the heat made it worse.
It was hot. It was like after a graduation practice or something. And honestly, it was just, I know Mia was so tired of having to pick me up from someplace. And so she was running late, but I had an appointment and I was like, why are you, why'd you stop and get food? Like, you know, I have to be somewhere. And so we're just going back and forth, like actually like yelling at each other. And then we didn't talk for the rest of the day. And then it wasn't until the next day where we actually did talk about it. We were still obviously upset, but like I said, like, I mean, I just care for her so much. And
Yeah.
I didn't want her to think that me being upset about what she did was me judging her character in any way.
Totally.
So that's honestly like the last fight that like the big fight that I can think of, because I think Mia and I are just super close. And so I think when we were younger, we used to fight the way you and Isla fight. I mean, like it was intense. Like we would like really be yelling at each other. But then as I got older, I was like she really cares about me. Like
Yeah.
she's like an amazing older sister. So I'd be so dumb if I just like was super mean to her and never apologized and never heard her out, because
Right.
like you said, we're going to go to college or grow up and she's never going to want to visit me. She's never really going to care about my life. And I don't want that at all. I mean, I want everyone that I like will meet in the future, I want them to be friends with Mia. She's an amazing person. So
That's why I was terrified to meet Mia.
because she's the
Why?
best. Like,
She's lovely.
Because like no, I'm saying like
She's way
before
less scary than her.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
No,
just
honestly,
kidding.
if it
I'm
was the
just
other way
kidding.
around, I don't think I would have even talked to her. I'd be like, hi. No, but like when Ellie and I were first becoming friends, like, you know, Mia was in college, so I never really, like, I saw Mia at school before she graduated, but like senior year, Mia was in college. And I just heard all these amazing things about Mia. Like Mia. And then she was like an older sibling and she's older than me. So I was just kind of like, oh my God, she's going to hate me. It's like all this stuff. And then I actually met her and I was like, wow, she actually cares about me on like a similar plane that she cares about Ellie, which is so weird. I was like,
She's just a
insane.
very
I love Mia.
deep lady. She's a very deep.
she is. I strive to be like her.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, thank
You
you.
just have a different energy than she does.
Yeah.
Your
it's
energy's
loud
different, but
and
you're very similar
fast and-
in that kind of core way where you're very deep. Yeah. Where are you going to be for Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I want to. My mom wants to be in Florida because they bought the house there, but Thanksgiving is really like my only break that I'm off of volleyball and I can come home and see my friends. So I might end up staying with one of my friends, like that we went to school with. I think she offered for me to stay at their house and do Thanksgiving with them. I have like, it really does take a village. So I have like a ton of family friends that I have grown up with, and all of them have offered for me to stay at their house. My mom, she owns a spa, and the lady that she works with, her daughter's also going to school with me.
Oh, no
so
way.
we're like a really tight family group. So I can also just go home with them. So I have options.
You can come here too. We'll be
I
here.
appreciate that. Thank you.
You're gonna experience whatever loud family Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh, our Thanksgiving is so loud.
It is so intense.
It is a lot.
Yeah. So is Christmas. You should come.
Oh,
During
Christmas Eve is nutty.
You should come during Christmas.
It's nutty.
Honestly,
Okay.
it's
I'm
so
down.
insane.
Christmas
The
Eve
amount
is
of bathroom
nutty.
breaks I take just because I need peace and quiet for 5 minutes.
Christmas Eve, we used to have about 50 people on Christmas Eve, and I make chicken fried steak, gravy, and biscuits and breakfast for
It was honestly
would love
so
that.
fun.
That's what my grandmother made
So
every year.
much
And then my
fun.
friend Sandy would bring Chinese food, which really doesn't go with chicken fried steak, gravy,
But it
and
was
biscuit, but it's really good. So it's become this kind of weird tradition where we have chicken fried steak and egg rolls. They don't make sense.
I'm down.
But
No,
it's
honestly,
really
it's
fun.
amazing. It's so
It is
fun.
fun. I'm glad you
it's
feel that
so
way.
Fun.
That makes me happy that you feel that way.
It's fun
Christmas
when it's
Eve is my
50
favorite.
people.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Oh, it's
When
not
it's-
fun when it's just us.
Well, no, when it is just us, it's fun, but
We're
it's
super
more
lame.
fun when you're like, when there are 30 something people in there and you're like, oh, this is only half of it. And like, there's still 20 people coming. You're like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big fun.
And breakfast
night.
for dinners.
And breakfast for dinner. My grandmother always did breakfast for dinner because breakfast is really inexpensive. So, and she was like, if I'm cooking a turkey on Christmas Day, well, she never cooked turkey. She always cooked like this Southern food called dressing. She cooked that on Christmas Day. She was like, I'm just going to do something cheap and easy. And it's breakfast for dinner every Christmas. It was really fun. So I started doing it when we had kids. And then Bert just started inviting everybody. Everybody. And I was like, year, I was like, there are 50 people here. I've made 60 biscuits. I make everything from scratch. I make the chicken fried steak from scratch. I make the gravy from scratch. It's a lot of work to make like 60 chicken fried steaks on a regular stove by myself. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's really fun.
Oh, it's so fun.
That's awesome.
So this time next year, we should podcast again and see how you feel after your first year of college. I did this with Georgia and Tatum for her freshman year of high school and their senior year of high school, just to kind of see
Could do it every
what
year.
it's like.
Oh, I'm so down.
Could do it every year. Listen, the first 2 years of college for me were party, party, party. The third and fourth years were let me get out of here. I got to finish. And I actually never graduated college. Because of all that trauma that happened, I just kind of kept floundering and floundering and floundering for 2 more years and finally went, you know what? I need to go and get my act together and then I'll come back. And I never did. I got my act together in a different direction. So, and I have no regrets about it, but I remember other people saying the same thing, like freshman, sophomore year, because freshman year, you're just like, I'm free. Every day is my own. I make all these decisions and all these mistakes. And then sophomore, you're like, I got my people. I know my parties. I got my shit, right? I know what's up. And then the third year, you're like, I got to get serious. I got to get out of here in 4 years. Fourth year is about really getting out of there. So it would be interesting to see if that was your experience too after each year and to see what you learned and what mistakes you've made and how they've kind of changed your perspective. I'm interested to see what you LA kids think about not LA kids and not
Yeah.
LA
I'm fascinated.
environments.
Yeah.
Because you've spent a lot of time every summer with kids in the South, and they're very different than
Oh, yeah.
kids here. And not good or bad, just totally different.
Just different. I remember when Daisy and Sophia were in the South, like they met my cousin Lexi, and they just like, not that anything we were talking about was bad, but we just kind of observed at the end, like, that what she placed importance on was different than just what we placed importance on.
Exactly.
And that's not bad. It was
No.
just like,
Just different.
it's honestly just cultural. Like in
Yeah.
the South, you place importance on a family a lot more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot more. So she would have all these stories, like intense stories about family. And it obviously, like, she cared about it a lot. So we listened. But like, Daisy, I just remember Daisy going like, I've just never grown up like that. And it's going to be so interesting.
Isn't it?
And then like, obviously there's stuff like us being social maybe wasn't like, I don't know, like the kind of parties we went to were definitely not the kind of parties she was going to.
Right.
And like our social experiences with people, like we would tell stories about like a party we'd been to, and her stories were like completely different, like other end of the spectrum.
And even
it's still like
as
a
simple as
teenager
prom.
partying. Yeah.
Prom being something
Prom?
very different in the South than it does here.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal.
Prom
in the
is like a
South.
huge deal.
It's almost like a step below a wedding. It's like a really big deal in the South. And that's lovely. I think that's awesome. And I think it's awesome that you guys went with a bunch of friends and bought $100, dress at a thrift store and thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with either one. But I'm going to be interested to hear how you process these other cultures and backgrounds from people, because if you allow it, it can make your perspective on life so much broader. If you don't, I'm not saying you will do this. If a person doesn't judge that as bad or wrong or other than, and just accept that we're all the same. We just kind of skin a cat a little differently, but we all skin the cat at the end of the day. It can make your life and your perspective so much richer, It can make your heart a lot more accepting. Not that you guys aren't accepting, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I'm staying in a city for college, and my school is like leans on the liberal side. So I think that's the only thing, is that like I feel as if it won't be as much of a culture shock.
Maybe not.
Which is a little disappointing. I know I am studying like political science, so I will get a view at what people think, both sides and stuff. But I did wonder. I was like, what would have happened if I went to school in the South? I talk about it. I was like, I kind of wanted to, like, just for a little. I was like, I thought like that'd be fun if I went to a school.
Oh my
in the
God.
South.
Yeah, we were talking about this one girl that went to our school who's like always lived I think she's always lived in California. And she's like, when you look at her from an outside perspective, you're like, oh my God, this is totally an LA kid. And she's going to Alabama for college. And we were just like, that is going to be so interesting.
Yeah.
Like, because I know for a fact this girl is coming to our high school reunion. So like, I know for a fact she's going to be there. So it's going to be so interesting. Like, I was talking to two girls when we were still in school, and we were just talking about whatever. And out of nowhere, I was like, what do you think you're going to be doing when we come back for a reunion? And they were like, I want to be married and have like a couple kids by then. I was like, you're going to be 20.
Wow.
What do you mean you're going to want? And I told Ellie and Daisy and Sophia about this. I was like, if I am married and have 3 or 4 kids by the time I'm going to my
you better start now.
high school reunion. I know. I was like, I don't think I could live. Like, obviously that makes a lot of people happy in that, if that's what they want. But I was like, that's just never anything I would want ever.
I think
age, yeah.
I think it was more shocking to hear her say that, because we've grown up like in this era where it's like, just
that's not the norm
live your
anymore.
life, like find friends. It's not set on finding a husband or a wife as soon as you get out of college. And so to hear someone be like, I think I just want to be a mom, which, there's nothing wrong with that. But it was so like, I was like, oh my God, I forgot, like, people do that as well.
Right?
It's not always like work till I die. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be, because I know, because like if we found people like that in LA, there are going to be so many more people like that in college.
Yes.
And I'm just so interested to see how many different types of people, because there were 2 people that I was talking to that had nothing in common. Like the 2 girls I was talking to, like, sure, they were in a friend group before, but like they really didn't have anything in common personality wise. Like, I know one girl actually really wanted to start a career, but she was set on actually having a husband and at least starting a family by her 10-year reunion for high school. We were just like, I just don't think I could do that. I just, like, if it makes you happy, do whatever makes you happy. But for me, that's just not, I just could not find fulfillment in getting married at 20 something.
Well, there's a saying that says, if you want to make God laugh, make plans. So, because the universe is just it just happens the way it's supposed to happen. I didn't think I would ever have kids. I didn't think I'd ever get married. I was absolutely sure I would never get married and have kids. And look what happened. I got married. And I have to tell you something. Being a mom, my mother used to say to me, if you're a stay-at-home mom, I will lose all respect for you. Because remember, she was in the women's movement who fought really hard for women's equality. Now, she was not someone marching and doing any of that. She definitely believed in being a career woman, and she was always a career woman. And I don't think she could, like the pendulum had swung too far for her to think of a stay-at-home mom as being acceptable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when the time came when I was pregnant with Georgia, I thought to myself, oh, no. I'm raising this child. This is mine. So I will be doing that. And I will not be farming that out to someone else, which doesn't work for everybody. Some people, that's not how they're wired. They're wired to be a career person who wants children, who want to love children and have them, but doesn't want to be 24/7 a mom. And I get that. I completely respect that. But I did. I mean, and I worked until Georgia was 6 because I had to. And I had a nanny for the hours that I was at work only. Like as soon as I walked in the door, nanny went home and I took over because that's what I wanted. But if you had asked me that in my 20s in college, I would have been like, no way. There's no way I will be doing that. First of all, I don't know how to do it. My mom was so screwy. I'll be a terrible mom. Second of all, who am I going to marry? I mean, I just run through guys every 3 months. I'm like, nope. I'm bored out of my mind. No, it's just not going to happen for me. So when it did, I was a little like, hold on here. What's happening? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I guess this is what we're doing. So I don't know. If you want to make God laugh, make some plans.
Oh, God.
Goals are one thing and trying to achieve something, but being open is, I think, one of the most important things you can do. And listening. You know, the universe, if you don't believe in God, I don't care what you believe in, but I believe that things talk to you all the time. There's signs from the universe all the time to tell you this is the right path. You know, and if you're open, you can see those things and go, oh, this is the right path. And that path may not be leading where you think it is, but if you're open to that, it will always lead you to fulfillment and happiness. And as long as you're on the path of fulfillment, then really what more could you ask for in life? I have been so fulfilled by raising my 2 kids and being married to Bert and working with Bert and for Bert. I don't know. I don't feel lacking. You know, people always ask me, aren't you sad that you stopped writing? And I feel really guilty to say I'm kind of not, because this period with my kids is about 20 years long. So I can write when they're gone. When Isla goes to college and you guys are gone, I can write till the day I die. I have no regrets about putting that aside and being here and doing this. And lucky for me, we're lucky and privileged enough that I could. You know, I didn't have to have a day job after you turned 6. That day job sucked. It was terrible. I hated it. Because all I wanted to do was be home and play with my kids. And I kept going, I'm missing so much. I'm missing everything. To rent someone an apartment, to collect rent, to like evict somebody. I don't want to do any of that. Maybe if I were writing instead, I would have felt differently, but I don't think so. I think I would have chosen to be with my kids. So I valued them so much. So yeah, I can do that later. And that was never my plan. Not ever. I think that's one big piece of advice. You know, I have another story about someone who lived in our apartment building. Her name was Sasha. Do you remember Sasha? She had the little wiener dog.
Wait, it was like
She had the little Gracie.
Did she have like
the wiener dog? She had black hair.
Was it short?
No, it was
Okay, just
curly.
kidding.
She was really pretty, really cute. Anyway,
Okay.
she lived in the first floor of our apartment building. And she was a news producer for like NBC News, nightly news, like big news producer. And she hated her job. She hated it. She had like a master's or something. And so she decided, let me just see what I want to do because I am so unfulfilled. And this is what she went to college to do. This was like the brass ring job. And she pivoted, and her dream job ended up being teaching second grade. She became a second grade teacher, and she was like, this is the best thing ever.
Aw.
Ever. Now, what do you do? Say that degree in whatever it was, journalism, communication, whatever her degree was, that brought her to this job that everybody would die to have. Do you say all those years were wrong? No. They brought her to the place where she was able to open up and go, all right, I don't like this, but I can do whatever I want. And this is what I want now. And she did that. She was married also. And then they came to a place where he didn't want kids and she did. And so they just said, okay, this isn't working. I really want to have kids. And you don't. He was a little rock star. He toured all the time as a musician. Nicest guy ever. They were the cutest couple. But they were like, we got married right out of college. We didn't know who we were. And now we're in our mid-30s going, wait a minute. I want this and you don't. So what am I going to force you to have this? And am I going to not have that? Because we got married when we were 20 and now we're 35. They're totally different people. She was pursuing news and now she's a school teacher and he's still a rock star. So they were brave enough to say this isn't working, and she got remarried and has kids and is super happy. There's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, my mom's been divorced 6 times, but I wouldn't do that. But someone
7
who's
husbands
open
of
and willing to
Yeah.
make a change, make themselves fulfilled. Fulfillment should be always your goal, to feel fulfilled. Right?
I agree. It's not worth wasting your time just because you get paid more.
No.
If you're not happy.
No, it's not. Do what you love. The money will come.
I agree.
What do you want to
Agree,
do, Ellie?
I don't know. I'm studying political science and economics, but I don't want to be a politician.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Political science and economics?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Dude, a lot.
Who studies economics?
Uh,
I can't even have a conversation with you.
No, Mom, seriously?
I hate economics. I hate it.
No, she was a crackhead in Gov and Econ. She was insane.
Well, thank you, because you're
She's
doing something
actually
that is
insane.
necessary, whatever it is you do, and I would never do it.
I would go in that
So
class
thank
and
you.
she'd raise her hand like 3 or 4 times, and I'd just be like, "You're kidding me? I just can't."
Okay,
I find it so interesting. I think my parents always raised me talking about politics.
Yeah.
My dad's from Ohio. He was born and raised in Ohio. So he has a different perspective on politics. I think once he had children and daughters especially, it definitely changed the way he thought about some things. But kind of hearing his perspective, my mom grew up in Chicago, so she was always raised around politics. So politics was never like a taboo subject with me.
Right.
I never had any issue bringing it up. And then, I don't know, I've always, I think I always kind of knew I wanted to do it ever since I had a lull where I wasn't sure exactly, but I always was super interested in it. And so I don't think-
politics?
yeah, in politics and especially in economics. I like to know what's going on. Like I like to know what's going on around me, I guess. So I became really into it when we were learning about it, especially.
That's really cool.
Thank you. And I don't know, I don't want to be a politician. I don't really see that for me because that's a whole other thing. I mean, it's kind of hard to be a good politician, but at the same time, it would be hard if I just watched all these kind of all these corrupt things going on and feel like I can't do anything about it. So I thought about international relations. I thought I was I could work on it could be a news reporter or something like that. I don't know, but I always want to do something either with law. I thought about being a judge, law, politics. Before, I actually didn't want to go to college all of junior year, but I had this plan. I was going to be a stenographer and sit in courtrooms and type it all up. And I actually went to a class, a 6-week class, and I had my own little machine and I was doing it, and it was actually really fun.
That's cool.
But the same thing, I felt I was but I feel I would want to be the lawyer. I feel I would be sitting there and I'd be like, this is so interesting. I want to like be a part of it. I'm not sure if I would just want to just document it. I would want to maybe do it myself.
I know we were making jokes about her. We were like, she's just going to start typing and then see something, go, hold on, guys, stop. No. And then stop typing and interrupt. And then
You should object. You should object.
Now's your chance.
let me give you a chance. Let me give you some tips.
Right.
Yeah.
Or she'd be like, here's what you don't know. And then start talking to the witness.
Does.
It's like, you just could not do that with your social personality. That's just not how that would work.
Yeah, but I mean, like my older sister's a journalist, so she's also very into what's going on around her. And Mia wants to go to law school. So we're all like, all three of us have, I think it's just like the way we were raised. Like we've always been like keenly aware of what's happening, and we like to just know. So, I mean, I'm not super set on it. I have some other things that I would like to pursue, but it's kind of always been something I feel like I don't want to say called to do, but I really feel like I feel like I could see myself doing this and actually like enjoying it.
Yeah. It would bring you fulfillment.
Yeah, it'll bring me fulfillment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Aww. Yeah.
What about you, Georgia? What do you think you're going to do?
I don't know
Rule
what
the
I'm gonna do.
Party.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just want anything I do to involve environmental studies, which is what I'm going to college for, because I mean, you kind of raised me outside a lot. Like we camped so much.
Yeah.
We went on trips outside everywhere, and I've just always been very grateful for the outdoors. And then as I took AP Environmental Science, I kind of started learning that there was a lot going on that could so easily just be fixed. Like obviously it's not that easy, but when you look at it from an outside perspective, I know how the average person feels, where they're like, okay, well, why aren't we just doing this?
Right.
So I want to do that, where I would just be like, why aren't we just doing this?
Like what? What's one thing?
Like one thing, energy, like pollution, just because you are like misusing energy.
I have notes on that.
What
I think that every single house in California should have solar panels.
Oh, I thought you were saying notes on what I was saying.
No.
I was like, what are your notes?
No.
Tell me what your notes are.
I don't know why every single house in Arizona, New Mexico, California does not have solar panels.
Well, there's a solar panel issue right now.
Why?
Because apparently they have like most of them have like a 9-year warranty, and the 9-year warranty is like coming up. So now everyone has no idea what to do with these solar panels. So they're just going in the waste.
Why?
No idea. I don't understand why you wouldn't just recycle them
And why don't they
make new solar panels.
Why don't they last
That's
forever?
why I want to go into environmental studies and go, well, what the hell?
Well, that
Why?
sounds like engineering.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying.
We could do like public policy.
Yeah.
Yes, you could.
Like
Yeah.
working in the EPA and stuff.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Maybe you'll be a park ranger.
Honestly, I was thinking about, we were talking about that. We were like, yes, I remember. We were talking about like jobs we want to do outside of, or like maybe in college or like for the summer. And we had a career fair, and there were these 2 park rangers that came in their bus, and they gave us little volunteer stickers, and they were like, yes. And we were like, oh, honestly, like we could do that as a career. And they were like, yeah, if you want to just be a park ranger, like they have more, what's it called, than cops. You know what I'm talking about? They have more,
Power?
yeah, they have like more, there's a word for it, but like they have more power than cops in some aspects. And like, I don't know, we were just talking about it, and we were like, that'd be kind of fun to be a park ranger.
Yeah, I know a girl who I grew up with. She's my older sister's age, and she's a park ranger at Yosemite, and she lives there like full time, and she's living the life. I mean, it's like she loves it so
amazing.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
It's supposed to be an amazing job. So your dad will be so happy to have you as a park ranger and Isla as a zookeeper. I mean, he's going to be like,
Oh my God.
what the fuck happened to my kids? Who raised my children?
That's so funny.
Aren't you supposed to want to be a star? No.
my
Instead,
gosh.
we have a park ranger and a zookeeper, which I would be super proud of.
That's
Honestly, I wouldn't
awesome.
be too mad. Like, I wouldn't be a park ranger for my entire life, but I do think definitely when I'm young, I would do it.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
a really cool
We should do it.
job.
Do you remember that we took this like career
Yes.
quiz? What was yours? Mine was a truck driver. So I was like,
Do you want to know? Mine's worse. Mine was a fish farmer.
really?
Fish farmer?
I got like a bunch of, you get like a list of, like when you take, okay, so we were,
It's a career aptitude
yeah,
test.
it's a career aptitude test, but it's one of those like online ones. So
Yeah.
you kind of, you know,
Fish farmer.
answer based off of kind of who you're closest related to. So I got that I should either work in the military.
Oh, mine was number one is military.
Oh, that was my
enforcement.
number two.
This.
My number
Yes.
one was boy, I don't remember what number one was, but my number two was military. My number three was like photographer or like news camera holder person. I don't know what they're called.
Cameraman.
Okay, yep. Cameraman. And then number four was fish farmer.
Interesting.
And I was like, why fish farmer? Like
Yeah.
that makes no sense.
Mine was a farm manager. I had military, writer, farm manager.
Oh, I had writer.
It was military / law enforcement.
Oh yeah, that's what it was, because it was like describing a police officer's job.
Oh, detective. So that was in my top four.
Oh my god, I don't remember my other three. I just remember
Just truck driver. You're so offended
truck
that you
driver.
just stopped
No,
there.
I mean I thought it was so funny because the criteria was like when I was, like doing the quiz, it was like, do you prefer to work alone? And I was like, yes. It was like, would you mind traveling? I was like, no, I love to travel. It's like
Yeah.
it was
So
like,
you're
would
thinking
you be-
like spy.
Yeah, like, do you handle
Yeah.
responsibility? Like, could you be responsible with like a company's goods? I was like, yeah, of course.
Assassin.
And then it was like truck driver, which I guess makes sense. 'cause
Yes,
it fits
based
all
on
those
your
things. I
criteria.
was like, okay.
Yeah, but it's not the direction you were going.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I remember that. That was so
But
funny.
what's interesting about that test, this is what I think is also kind of broken in our system, right? Is those jobs don't maybe apply to you, but they apply to so many people in the US. And what we have done in our high school system is removed vocational school as a viable option so that someone could actually get their CDL and be a truck driver right out of high school. Or that someone could actually be a police officer, because you don't need a college education to be a police officer. You need a high school education and you go to police academy. But you could take some forensic science at a vocational school that would maybe get you a little higher in the police department. And we have removed that option from high school across the nation. There are so few high schools that offer that. They still offer them, some, but there's no home ec. There's no, we called it ag, which was agriculture. There's no
Well, they have FFA,
woodworking. That's a club. FFA is a club.
Future Farmers of America.
And
Oh,
Lexi is in FFA because she still has ag classes because she's still in a predominantly agricultural part of the United
Yeah.
States. But do you know that this entire neighborhood that we live in is zoned agricultural? And that's why the high school that you would have gone to if we had stayed in our other house still has an ag program. But they don't exist everywhere. Pierce College used to be all agriculture, and now they've shut down a whole big portion of their agricultural, and I think it's really a shame. Not just about agriculture, but about my dad graduated from high school and became an auto mechanic. So, but as I was in high school, my high school boyfriend got on the bus after homeroom and went to vocational school for 2 periods and then came back at lunch and had English, math, whatever. And by the time he graduated high school, he had a 2-year certificate in being an electrician. So all he had to do was apprentice for 1 year and he had his license. And he's retired now and he's 52 because he was not somebody who was going to go to college. He's very smart, but he's more interested in being an electrician than being an accountant, which would require you to go to college.
Yeah.
But there's so many kids who don't know that that's available to them. So that aptitude test could give a kid who doesn't really think outside of the box or isn't exposed to other job opportunities like truck driver or fish farmer or farm manager to go, oh, you know what? Maybe I could do that. It's really a shame. I think that, unfortunately, and I'm just maybe prejudiced, but I think when I was in school was the best time to be in school. They educated kids very differently than they do now. And part of it was being exposed to blue collar or skilled labor jobs that we still need very much.
I think there's like this weird, now that everyone's going to college and college is so expensive And especially with social media, like everyone's doing these really high achieving jobs. There's like some shameful stigma around
Agreed.
Just gonna say that.
Yes,
I was just
because we've
thinking
had this
that.
conversation about
my
like
God.
being a plumber.
Yes.
Like there's this
Or a nurse.
Yes, or a
Yes.
nurse. Like there's this weird shame of like that's all you're gonna do with your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a second grade teacher. Like that's not just because it's everybody needs a plumber. Everybody needs their
Yes.
kid to learn second
Could you
grade.
imagine COVID without a nurse?
Yeah.
Everybody needs nurses.
Yes.
Like everyone needs these people. So I don't understand why their careers aren't held in such a more
They
more
should be.
higher esteem than an interior
Yeah.
designer. Like no, you maybe need an interior designer, and being that's also totally fine. But also
Yeah.
there should be no shame in
That's the
wanting to
thing.
go to vocational school for 2 years to become a mechanic.
It's
Yes.
the
At
stigma
all.
and the shame
Yeah.
that is so stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, like we treat others who do these service jobs for us that like being a truck driver and delivering goods across the country. We treat people who do these services for us as less than,
Yeah.
which makes absolutely no sense to me because it's like without that truck driver, you couldn't get any of the things that you ordered online.
No,
or
nothing.
like just like groceries from place to place.
And who wants it? Hello? Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Guest star. Guest star. She has something to say, I think, about.
Fully, I would not be wearing any of the clothes I'm wearing right now if
Izzy.
I didn't have truck drivers.
Well, do you know how many of
What do you
your
think about
cousins are
service
truck
jobs?
drivers?
No.
Chris,
Oh, Chris,
Keith, and Cindy.
Cindy's a truck driver?
She was for a
Aw,
long time.
Shuddy.
You know?
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh man.
Big voice here.
Or, no.
They're coming to say, podcast should be over. It's doggy time.
No, Dad
Right?
is saying podcast should
Pooch
be
time.
over.
You think so? Hi, buddy.
Is you got something to say about service jobs?
Well, being a service dog is really hard. I mean, you can't do this.
What do you got?
And you can't play.
I
And I know I
Oh,
can
you just got
pet
me
you.
wet.
We passed out in the backyard.
Did you?
Is Mac been in here the whole time?
No, he just came
No.
in. They both just came in.
Come on in, guys.
Aren't
Come on,
they
let's go,
sweet?
guys.
Okay,
Izzy, Mac, let's go.
let's wrap up the podcast.
Sounds
No, I
good.
like this conversation.
You like this conversation?
Yes.
Well, then,
Service jobs.
how do you change the stigma? We're talking about
Ew, you smell
vocational
horrible.
school.
Oh my god.
and
oh my
how
god,
is
Mac.
stigmatized now.
He smells really bad.
And like how we
He
like
smells
treat
bad?
people who do service jobs for us as less than because they didn't go to college.
Well, I personally don't, but
well, I think it's more
Some
of like
people
a
Like society, I guess.
Society.
Yeah.
You're not saying you do personally.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Saying that
Society.
sometimes people look down.
Yeah.
Society, yeah. I don't.
or they would never say, "Oh, I'm so happy my son's going to be a plumber."
I think
Like,
that's
and-
more
and,
of a
and
societal
commu-
shift that
It's
needs
so
to happen.
stupid.
Like you can't just expect everyone.
Because George is going to be a park ranger, and Isla's going to be a zookeeper.
That'd be an awesome. Hang on. Let's I don't like.
Oh my god.
So I actually had a TV show because I felt like, myself included, so many people went after a dream as opposed to what a dream adjacent could be. I worked at a lighthouse for a day, and I thought this is a pretty cool job, being a lighthouse attendant. Mm-hmm. And I thought not enough people know about this job.
Yeah, that's
that would
what we
really
were
enjoy
saying.
this.
Yeah.
That maybe would enjoy writing or reading, and you know, trust me when I say that I've had a lot of dream jobs in my life, and many a time, and I've had this conversation with a few people. You fantasize about the person that leaves their job at home, leaves their job at work.
At work, yeah.
Like when
The
I
9
remember,
to 5 where
yeah.
you go home and you're at home.
And if you're looking to make good money and raise a family or just be by yourself and maybe your dream's traveling, but you know you're not going to be a Travel Channel host. You could be a plumber or lay brick or a
mason.
construction worker, a mason.
Yeah.
And then travel when you want to travel, do your own thing. I met a guy, Halston knows a guy, Riley, who was a longshoreman, right? Halston. He worked on oil rigs out in the middle of the ocean, and he would do that for 6 months, and then he'd go and do what he wanted to do. Not everything work doesn't have to define. It's a big European thing.
Yeah,
Is that-
our heating and air conditioning guy is that way.
Yeah.
He works so he can scuba dive. So he owns his own business. He's a one-man show because he doesn't want to have to keep employees like busy. And he's the best heating and air conditioning guy. And he works until he saves enough money to go on this big trip scuba diving. And then he comes back and does it again.
Things
Because that's his dream, is to scuba dive all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what he does.
perspectives change
Pretty cool.
as you get older and as you meet more people. And I think maybe in high school, the perspective may be if you go to a vocational school, it's not as good as college. I remember we had a good buddy, Spencer. Spencer, one of my best friends, mom knows him, didn't go to college. He's one of the 3 wealthiest dudes I know in Tampa right now. And he went on, he started, I don't want to say, and I shouldn't call them out, but he started valeting cars, which for Spencer was what he wanted to do at the time. And in that process of valeting cars, him and my 2 other good friends started buying properties because they knew that, like, just math. They're all smart dudes. They're not college dudes, and both. Both the Accardi brothers, I've known my whole life. They're not college dudes by any stretch of the means, but they're smart people.
Right.
They're really smart people. They're not good at going to class and taking notes. And,
Yeah, those are not one and the same.
but they own the majority of South Tampa now. Their business
From hard work and
from
being
just
very
being smart. You just got to be
Yeah.
smart. Do the thing you want to do and just be smart.
Do what you love, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, take it from me.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like with the not being a college person and like having shame and I don't know, maybe doing something like heating and air conditioning to scuba dive. Like I remember we were at Sophia's house. I don't remember if you were there or not, but our friend came over and Sophia's mom like asked what he was going to do in college, and he's going for welding because he really wants to be a mechanic. And she just by her reaction, like to him saying welding, I was like, well, that's the problem. Like, that's why we don't have more mechanics, is because people go, oh.
We have plenty of mechanics.
No, not obviously not.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like for someone that wants to go to school for welding, that's amazing because he's actually really good at like fixing cars. Like that's his passion.
Right.
So going to school for welding shouldn't be a problem. But the problem is the people that go, oh, that's sweet. And you're like, oh, well, it's not sweet. Like he's good at it. Let him do what he's good at.
Super freaking cool.
Yes.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Look at my job. My job's even more bizarre. Just petting dogs. Yeah, that's my whole
I
job.
don't have a job.
I don't either.
Here, flip around.
Oh, give him the mic.
my friend Gabby Reese. I've talked to you about her.
Yes.
She's a really great volleyball player, and you're going to college to play volleyball.
I am.
But if you take a look at all the pivots her job has taken, from model to volleyball player to MTV spokesperson to, I mean, now kind of a little bit of a anti-aging lifestyle ambassador. Her and her husband. Her husband was a big wave surfer. Probably not the best, but it's like, I don't know. I think it's really cool. I didn't think this way when I was younger, but I think it's really cool. By the way, I had the most solid nap in the backyard with the dog. I passed out so
Were you on the
hard.
ground?
No, in the hammock.
Oh, that hammock is.
Yeah. But it's and I was a part, just to be very clear, I was a part of the shaming. When my buddy Spencer didn't go to college, I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, what's going on?
I'm going to go spend 7 years in college. What's wrong with you?
All right, I'm out. This is done.
I like college so much. I think 7's a good number.
Overeducation is not a problem for
We have
me.
an IV at 8:30
Tonight?
An ID.
IV.
Oh, what a romantic date. Isn't that? He's such a romantic. He doesn't bring me flowers. He gives me an IV. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Ew. God,
Anything
put that
else you'd like to
away.
say about
That was horrible.
what you're about to embark on, about next phase of your life, this next chapter?
I don't know. I'm excited. I can't wait to keep you all posted, I guess. I mean, I just, yeah, I'm really excited. I feel like, especially talking it through with someone older than me, I feel like my, like the book you gave me, all my worries about my mistakes, like they're going to happen.
Have you read
and
that
it's
book?
Fine. I started it.
A little bit?
A little bit, but I've kind of been here with her, so it's been a
I know,
little hard
yeah,
to start reading it.
I hear you. 10-4, 10-4. That's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, so just to know, like, and to talk it through on this just makes me feel a lot better about it. I feel a lot more excited. I feel less nervous. So.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm excited to see how vastly different but also very similar our lives are going to be after we leave, because we're all four going to different states. We're all studying something different, and we're all, as much as we are similar, we have that many differences as well. So I'm so excited to see how different our lives are, but then all the similarities that come with them being so different.
Yeah.
Like, because I know we're just never, there's never going to be a time where I worry about losing touch. There's never going to be a time where I worry about all four of our relationships with each other. But I'm just so excited to see, like, how Daisy's life is going to vary from mine, and how both of ours vary from Ellie's, and how all three of ours vary from Sophia's, but then how mine and Sophia's are similar, like all that.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see that, because I think honestly that's going to make us better friends.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to the Venn diagram that is
Yes.
your lives, right?
The
Yes.
bubble map, actually.
Yes. Oh my god.
That's what I'm excited for.
Exactly. Well, life is what you make it. That's all there is to it. College will be what you make it. If you make it hard, it's going to be hard. If you make it easy, it'll be easy. Having each other is going to make it better. But, I think one of the hard things for some people is to I don't know how to say this, how to accept that, I don't know how to say this, but college will change all four of you. It will. You can't help it. And to be okay with that change, because at the end of the day, you, I don't know, you may not be a foursome. Are you worried about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally so. Yes,
It's always
definitely.
a possibility, but
That's kind of what I was talking about, is why I treat them especially with so much fragility, is because I
Yeah.
know nothing's really guaranteed. Like,
Yeah.
as much as I will hope and as much as I will, like, actually
I hope
put
so too.
yeah, same. As much as I put effort into, keeping all three of you in my life for the rest of my life, like, if it's not meant to stay that way, then I'll just have to accept it. Hopefully, in the greatest possibility, it will stay that way.
I hope so too.
And I
Yeah.
have faith that it will, but there's always that worry. And I think if we didn't have that worry, then it would definitely not be guaranteed.
yeah.
Like, if we were all confident that we were going to stay friends, like, there would be just no effort put into keeping us friends. Oh, Mac.
Stop.
That's spit.
I know, it's
I
like
know.
driving me crazy. But, like, if we were just so
Yeah.
confident in each other, then that's where you're just like, oh, I didn't call her in like a couple months. It's fine. We're still friends. Like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If there's that, like, if you're still scared of it, you're going to put effort into it, which is going to keep it alive.
Yeah.
You could set up like a Wednesday night FaceTime.
That was her idea.
That was Daisy's. I gotta give credit where it's due.
Okay, sorry.
We actually agreed on Wednesdays. We're gonna do a group call. That's so funny. You just Mom!
Oh, so disgusting, right? Who wants it? Who wants it? I couldn't deal with it anymore. I'm typing over here.
Continuing. No, but we all came up with it. Ellie was like, we need to call each
Yes.
other a time. I was like, we could do a conference call.
Yeah, we're gonna get a group calendar that we can all put our schedules in. So if I'm going to class and I see Sophia has free time, I'm
Yeah.
gonna call her.
Like a Google Cal or
Yeah,
something? Like
Yeah,
Exactly.
we need to find the app, but and like actually use it.
Yeah. But I think that even if we were to, like, God forbid, drift away, I've learned so much being friends with you guys, and I know what it's like to
be a
feel
real friend.
Yeah.
be a good friend, have a great friend, and to, like, know what it takes to keep that around. So regardless of what happens, I'm thankful for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. Like, now that we've all been friends for however long we were friends, we know exactly how we're meant to be treated. So if we're not being treated to that standard, then it's not what we deserve, because we know that there are at least 3 people out there that will treat us to the standard that we, like, hold for each other.
It's really good that you have that. I had that in my friend Becky, who we were friends in 7th and 8th grade. And she taught me how to be a friend and what a good friend was. It's really cool to have that point of reference. We're not friends. I mean, not that we're not friends. We're still friends, but she lives in Georgia. I live here. We live very different lives. We talk maybe twice a year. We text more than that. Mac. Not everyone likes your drool, Mac.
You also smell horrible.
Well, he just got back from the groomer.
No, he actually smells.
Spit's on the mic.
Nah,
Just put it right in your chin. Just right on your chin, Ellie.
rub it in, moisturizer.
I have to say. Oh, very
my God.
insightful.
He's so cute.
such
He's
an
so
old
cute,
soul.
though, right? He's so cute.
Yeah.
So we should wrap it up, guys. Thank you for talking to me about this. Thank you for being so open.
Of course.
About
Thank you for
everything.
having me. It's my dream.
It was my
first time.
pleasure.
Hey, and then we get to do it every year now.
Yeah, next year.
Oh.
Well, I know
Mac.
you guys are going to do great in college. You just are, because you're really great kids. Adults now. Really great
Thanks.
people.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on my
Yes,
podcast.
Halston.
Oh,
Thanks,
you.
Halston.
Mackie.
Oh my God.
Ew.
Ugh.
Mac, you're so gross.